How's it going? I'm Jake Hibbard, and welcome to another edition of Sports Night, brought to you by First Bank of Wyoming. Well, we're back to the Thursday matchup, so that means, hey, I'm on Wednesday night. That must mean we've got a game coming up tomorrow night. Let's take a look. The trip to Evanston coming our way, 6 o'clock and 7:30. The last time we had Evanston on the circuit, I took a look at their boys team, and you can check that out right here. But this week, I'm going to be focusing on our Saturday matchup. Let's go ahead and move the schedule right. Yeah, as Star Valley's boys look to come back from that 2-point loss to Natrona that snapped an 8-game winning streak. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and pull that schedule back up and take a look at what we've got coming up this weekend. Star Valley girls and boys basketball programs won't be the only ones on the road this week. Well, tomorrow, it's the Simplot games for indoor track. Those will run straight through Saturday at Idaho State University. Of course, basketball, 6 o'clock and 7:30. Girls followed by the boys at Evanston. And SBI News is your place to catch all of that live action. I guess if you have a snowmobile, you can make it your way to Evanston as well to watch the game. On Friday, Star Valley's hosting their speech and debate meet, and wrestling will be hosting regionals. Boys, that is. The girls' regional wrestling tournament will be at Evanston. Star Valley tournament starts at 9:30 on Friday. The girls on the road at Evanston at 3:30. And then on Saturday, back to basketball. Riverton, the site for the girls at 3 o'clock and the boys at 4:30. As speech and debate, the Simplot games, and the wrestling regionals will also conclude on Saturday. But before we get to basketball, we had National Signing Day a couple of weeks ago, and 3 Star Valley athletes signed their name to letters of intent and continue their athletic career. Those 3 were golfer Jordan Horsley, who will be continuing her golf career at Metro State University in Denver. Cooper Lawson, of course, signing with the University of Wyoming. And then Grant Thompson signing with Division II Black Hills State football. Not only will the move take Horsley to a city with the population about 150,000 upward of the state of Wyoming, but among the 5 returning golfers on the team, look at all the places this school's grabbing their talent from. Omaha, Phoenix, Calgary, and Afton. Also, when it comes to college athletics, I don't think there's a better sport to go compete in than golf. No wind sprints, rain checks are a thing. Let's hear former college football player Malik Shackelford break it down for us.
I should have never tried to go play college football. I should have never tried college football. I should have been swinging a golf club since I was a kid. There is something just, about a sport that you're so bad at. I'm so bad at golf. But all it takes is for me to hit one half-decent shot, and I'm pretty sure people mistake me for Tiger Woods. Yeah, there's Tiger. I'm like, no, sir, it's just me. It's just Malik. It's not Tiger.
Well, for the guys who did, like Shackelford, go for football, let's jump over to Cooper Lawson, who's headed to the University of Wyoming. As you might expect and be able to see right here, Lawson will jump right into a Cowboys program that is loaded with talent on the offensive line. As of right now, Lawson will be one of 21 offensive linemen listed on the Wyoming Cowboys roster set to return for the fall. Here's Lawson's high school football coach, McKay Young.
And I think he's got the 2 best position coaches in the state here, Coach Thompson on the O side and Coach Kazare on the D side. I think what we do for our linemen on both sides is reflected year in and year out of the offensive and defensive lines that we put out there. Big thing that Coop's going to see is it just becomes a job. I mean, it's here, and you hear a lot of those NFL guys say football is never more fun than in high school. I think he's been well prepared for that.
Over at Division II Black Hills State, Grant Thompson signed as a linebacker. Of course, he'll go on his 2-year mission first before joining the roster, though technically he comes in as one of 22 linebackers on this Hornets roster for 2025. And out of Wyoming, Cohen Morrow, formerly of Evanston, came off of his redshirt season as a linebacker in 2024, and Carter Archuleta and Cash Tillard from Douglas, as well as Kiona Wisniewski from Powell, also joined Black Hills State out of Wyoming as linebackers in the fall. Thompson's high school coach Young played a couple of years at the University of Montana Western, so he knows what it's like to go from the high school to college level.
The specific coaching of the linebacker position went through the roof for me. I mean, I didn't know how to read or do any of that stuff. It was all instincts in high school. I remember the very first game my freshman year, I think I tried to swim move somebody or something, and they drove down the ball and scored it. I mean, the offensive line that I was looking at, I mean, they were all 300 pounds. They were all tall. And I remember coming off the field, and my D coordinator linebacker coach, he said something to the effect of, maybe that works in high school, it's not going to work here.
Now let's move on to this weekend's basketball games. Of course, again, for a look at Evanston's program, you can take a look at that video I did earlier in the year. But let's move on to Saturday. The Riverton Wolverines coming in as losers of 4 straight to Kelly Walsh and Natrona County, and then last week to the Sweetwater County teams Rock Springs and Green River. Despite their 5-14 record, Riverton's played a few teams pretty close this year, including Natrona County to double overtime on the 6th of February. Riverton also won a double overtime game at the end of January against Rock Springs, narrowly lost to Evanston 53-50, and kept Star Valley within 10 on the road. So while it's easy to overlook a team at 5-14, especially at this point in the season with 3 wins in the conference compared to 6 losses, and again, I don't care about quadrants. I'll let wildpreps.com figure that out. I want to know how these teams are actually doing against the 4A West. And Riverton, well, they've gone 3-6. This is the time of season when upsets happen and teams go from bad to good to bad to great to better, or somewhere in between. So I guess what I'm saying is we're going to find out these last few weeks of the regular season which one of those trajectories, if any, Star Valley and Riverton is on. Leading the way for Riverton is number 33. That's Malachi Smith, a 6'4", 200-pound senior center who averages 13.5 points and 9 rebounds per game. You'll also see that Malachi is leading the state in blocks per game almost 3 times over, with nearly 2 blocks more per game than second place Carver Bartlow out of Thunder Basin. Well, part of this could be because Malachi has a secret weapon that so many basketball players, especially ones with a defensive acumen, seem to possess: wingspan. I'm not here to say one way or another if this information is true to a T, but Malachi has long arms, and according to his profile page, at 6'4", his wingspan sits at 7'3". That puts him on par with defenders in the NBA like Kawhi Leonard or Oklahoma City guard Jalen Williams, who stands at just over 6'4" with a nearly 7'3" wingspan. Just for a reference of how absurd a 7'3" wingspan on a 6'4" frame is, you know the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo? His wingspan? 7'3". One way or another, whoever's guarding Malachi on Saturday has their hands full. As a team, Riverton shoots 31% from 3, with their leading three-point shooter being Aiden Kelly, 28 makes on the year. I think rebounds is the key in this game, as if you look at second chance points, that's been where Riverton's had the most success throughout the season. And that's it for me. I'll see you next week.